Screwdrivers were invented for armory maintenance and gun maintenance, and they've been basically unchanged for 500 years. We'll talk about that and more fun screwdriver facts while we sketch this little tool. So let's just turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning. 5:30 in the morning on Saturday mornings is when I like to do a little thing where I pull a toy from the toy box, a random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier, if you will, and I like to draw it and I like to talk about it. And today's random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier is a screwdriver. Now, screwdrivers, it's believed that screwdrivers were invented for armor and gun repair in the mid 15th century, 1400s. But they don't really know who invented them. They just know that they show up in the tool usage, and they show up in the literature of the day. And they don't really know who invented them. They just know that in the literature of the day, this is when they show up and this is what they were used for. They were called a tournevis in France. They're a Schraubendreher in Germany, and both of those words just mean screwdriver. When they were first invented, though, for the first 400 years, they had like a pear-shaped handle on them. And you would hold it like this because they thought that gave you the most torque. And it wasn't until the late 1800s, early 1900s that they added the hexagonal handle that we're all familiar with. The thing I like about the hexagonal handle, no, Phillips didn't invent the screw turner. That's a different story, and it's a different tool. That one, I actually have a set of these tools, Joe, and that one actually comes up later when we pull that toy out of the toy box. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Phillips and his tool. You know, the popularity of the screwdriver in modern day, one of the things Ford had an opportunity to change mechanisms and probably would have changed the world had he done so. Because of the popularity of the Ford automobile, there was a guy in Canada, P.I. Robertson, invented a square driver. Invented is not, I don't know if invented is the right word or not, but he designed a square driver that grabbed screws like a socket. And Henry Ford loved it, thought it was a fantastic idea. And he and Robertson were in discussion about it, and Ford wanted exclusive rights to it. I don't know if you've ever worked on a Ford. My limited experience with working on Fords is that all of the tools they use are proprietary. Or at least it seems like everything you want to do with a Ford, you have to go buy a special tool for. And that was going to be the case with this tool. If you wanted to work on a Ford, you had to go buy. He wanted it so that you had to have this special screwdriver. And Robertson said no, he wasn't going to. He wasn't going to give Ford exclusive rights, and so Ford didn't do it. Ford stuck with the flathead, and so since all of the Fords required flathead screwdrivers to be worked on, that's what became the staple in the mechanic's toolbox. Because if you think about it, if you weren't a gunsmith, what did you need a screwdriver for? Until you had an automobile to work on. If you weren't a gunsmith, what did you need a screwdriver for? The general public had no use for these things. Now, every house in America has a screwdriver. Practically every house in America has a screwdriver. But in 1907, why would you have a screwdriver? All right, that's enough pencil marks. Of course, the design flaw. Yeah, Robertson from Canada. If you can find, Joe's talking about how in the 7th grade he did a presentation on screwdrivers, and he makes the comment, if you can find where my wife put the screwdriver. Yeah, my wife helping me put stuff away is how I lose all my stuff.
Watch it.
Well, when you go to look on the art bench for the tool that you left out and somebody has put the tool away, I don't even think to look at where it goes. Anyway, so the hexagonal design, my favorite thing about the hexagonal design is that a box wrench will fit over the top of it, and you can add torque to it. You can pull a box wrench out of the toolbox, crank on a screwdriver like this. And according to OSHA, that is one of the many reasons why screwdrivers are the #1 manual tool for injury, because they are the #1 tool misused. Now, granted, they're not the highest injury. You know, there's band saws and table saws and sanders and stuff that cause bigger injuries, but the screwdrivers are the most misused because people use them as chisels, people use them as hammers, people use them as pry bars. People take box wrenches and put them on them. This is going to be a fast. Oh, look! Joe's saying the exact same thing: paint can opener, pry bar, hammer, chisel. That's funny. That's funny. Do. But yeah, when you're using a screwdriver and you put too much pressure on it and it slips out of the slot, that's called a cam out. And the cam out is one of the most reported incidences to cause injuries, because slips out and stabs you in your hand. So OSHA has a big section on screwdrivers and screwdriver safety. You would think OSHA would have more important things to worry about, like forklift operations, people stacking ladders on top of ladders so that they can reach higher places to work. But they do have a whole section about screwdrivers. The Swiss Army knife of hand tools. I like that, Joe. The Swiss Army knife of hand tools. All right, let's see here. This is my favorite part. This is the part that brings the whole thing to life. Where you turn a line drawing into a dimensional drawing. Just brings the whole thing to life. So this is without a doubt, my favorite part of the whole process. I hope everybody's well today. It looks like it's just like my mom and dad and Joe this morning. There's been storms around. I wonder if the storms were in Oklahoma. Joe, have there been storms in Oklahoma like there've been here? We had some big storms roll through Houston.
Okay, I'm back.
I didn't know you were gone.
My computer blacked out.
Oh, had no idea.
Sorry. Okay.
There's Ivy. Good morning, Ivy. Ivy, I'm sorry I missed your show yesterday. I will try to watch the recording today. We got hammered at work. My corporate sponsors kept me hopping yesterday. My wife and kids were supposed to go camping last night, and the scouts called it off. They're going to go today and tonight, but the storms were so bad they called it off. Screwdrivers are a $4.9 billion industry. That was a bit surprising. Because it is the number one house next to hammer. It's the number one household tool. What are you laughing at?
Joe said the star of her string was in red nails.
They what?
The star of Ivy's string was her red nails.
She get her nails did? Ivy got her nails did.
I miss getting my nails did.
I need to go get a pedicure. I can't reach my toes. They're way at the end of my legs. It causes problems for old decrepit people. I'm gonna set my earpods to translate Vietnamese, and I'm gonna go get my toes did.
Now he's a banquet shindig.
Oh, what banquet shindig?
Yeah, I'll make.
All right, let me dry this real quick, and we'll come back with some color. We went to. It's funny you say that. My Facebook feed came up 15 years ago, 14 or 15 years ago. We went to a a Chickasha Area Arts Council banquet and ball. They got the ballroom at the local college rented, and we had a silent auction to raise money, and we had an awards ceremony, and there was dancing. And in my Facebook feed, my beautiful young bride is up there doing the electric slide as at barefooted as a memory. And I shared that so fast because I love to watch my beautiful young bride have a good time. That's the scene. If you That's not the first one. That's like the second. That's like the second fundraising ball that we attended, because the first one she wore a beautiful red dress, and I wore a sleeveless shirt with a tie. We took that dress shirt and we cut the sleeves off of it and hemmed the sleeves. You remember that?
Yeah.
Hemmed it up. But this one in the video that I posted that I reshared yesterday, she's wearing all black. So that's not the first event. That had to have been the second or third one.
Yeah, she'd already changed clothes or something.
But she's not going to change clothes at the ball.
Yeah, no, well, no, that's true.
She's certainly not going to change out of a red formal gown into slacks and a top. There are certain industries where these things are standardized and you can't do away with them. Electrical, older plumbing services, antique furniture. Let me dry this real quick. Good morning, MJ. Over on the vertical side. Good morning. Thank you. We're not. You caught me. You caught me drawing. You caught me drawing the paper. But good morning and thank you. I lost that highlight right through there. I shouldn't rely so much on this tool. The thing I like about this tool is it leaves a hint of color behind. So the highlight is not white. The highlight is just a lighter shade of orange or gray or whatever your base color is. Can't talk arting. What are you saying?
Joe asked, what is that blue thing?
He's talking about my eraser.
Oh,
It's an electric eraser, Joe.
hey, brass teeth.
Here, I'll show you. Morning, brass teeth. It's an electric eraser. It's just a little drill. What? The camera changed. It's just a little drill with a vinyl eraser on the end of it. It basically just scrapes a layer of the paint off. So if you want to come back in and add a highlight, or if your highlight, in my case, my highlight didn't stand out enough, and so I came back in to enhance the highlight. It works well for that. Dun, 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 dun. What is today? Today is the 2nd of May. This is the month all the Native Americans dread, because the April showers bring the Mayflowers. All right. All right. So there is my version of it compared to the photograph. Let's see it from my perspective. Let's see it. My screwdriver moved. When I started my hairdryer, my screwdriver moved. So maybe a little bit off. Train. Yeah. Ivy's got a train. Ivy does this thing on her show where whenever a train passes by, she has to go. The chat calls out a color, the first color that comes up in the chat. She picks that colored pencil, and for the next 10 minutes, she colors with that colored pencil to demonstrate that you can finish a color in just 10 minutes at a time. It's a fantastic thing. We thought about implementing it here, but I don't live anywhere near trains. So there it is. There it is from my perspective. Tomorrow, I always call out Black too, Joe, just because I know she hates it. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, it's a mystery. Oh, the suspense. The suspense. What could it be? What could it be? You know what it is? It's a baboon. It's a Cape baboon or a Chacma baboon. We'll talk about their matriarchal society. Do they have a matriarchal society? I'm not real sure. We'll talk about baboons tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time while we sketch this little monkey. He's gone now. We'll never see him again. Guys, be sure and set your notification bell so we can watch that tomorrow morning. I will find him. He's right down there. Just if I know what's going to happen. I'm going to slide out. This is Final Destination stuff. The monkey fell out of my hands. I'm going to push my chair back. My chair's going to collapse behind me, and I'm going to die. No, I'm not doing it. Not live on television. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I do look forward to this every day when I get to art with my besties. It's the highlight of my day. It truly is. Ivy and Joe, thank you so much for joining me. Brass Teeth and MJ, thank you so much over on the vertical side. I really do appreciate you guys turning out for me this morning. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing. What's going on? So we're going from screwdrivers to honeys. Okay, the show is no longer PG. Thank you guys so much. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because that is how I know the lag is caught up with the stream and I won't be cut off mid-sentence. It gives you a chance to click the clicky thingies this way if you're on the horizontal, or this way if you're on the vertical. And it gives everybody a chance to say hello and